What is happening, people, and welcome back to the channel. I do hope you're keeping well. Today, I'm joined by three fabulous guests. Don't worry, I can count because just two of them are with me now. Firstly, Davina, second time on the show. How you doing?
I'm all good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's nice to have you back on and obviously discussing a Tottenham win as well. Can't be that bad. And Benjamin, very popular from Saturday. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all.
Good to hear. It is great to have you on. We'll get into a little bit of that later. Why Benjamin is just so popular at the moment. But if you are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and get to 2K by the end of the season is the aim. So that will be massively appreciated. If you are listening, on any other podcast platform, because a lot of you do, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. That'd be massively appreciated. As I said, we are joined by Pav later, so hopefully she joins us very shortly. But Benjamin, I'll come to you first. And thinking back before the Brighton game, I want to know your thoughts on the lineup, because also you saw Son and Basuma back on the bench after international duty, and both Kulusevski and Bentancur keeping their place. So what do you make of the starting 11? Any shocks? Any surprises?
No, not really. Like, Sonny was never going to start, was he? And if he did, it would have been a bit of a shock. I know they brought back on New Year's Eve, Bentancur. None of us thought he was going to start, but he did.
Yeah.
I personally didn't think he would start. So nothing would have surprised me. But like after his tournament and coming back and probably jet lag and coming back into training and stuff, I think most of us thought that Son wasn't going to start, I guess. But yeah, the lineup to me was pretty much as I expected, I think, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. And Davina, do you kind of feel the same? Any surprises in there for you?
No, not really many surprises, given that Son had literally just come back. I remember seeing on Twitter that he actually reported to Hotspur Way literally the day after he came back from the Asia Cup. So again, he's so fully poised, but didn't expect him to start. I don't think it would be fair either, give him a bit of rest after playing such an intense role in such a big tournament for his national team. But when he did come on, the impact that he had, it's so good to have him back.
Yeah, it is really good to have Son back. And obviously Brighton were without João Pedro as well, so that was obviously a plus for us. But getting into the game itself, 17th minute, Van der Ven gives away a penalty, which is then scored by Pascal Gross to put Brighton ahead. So Davina, coming back to you. Firstly, was it a penalty for you or not a penalty? What do you make of Tottenham's start to the game?
Yeah, okay, there's a couple of questions in there. I do think that it was a pen. I mean, at this rate, like pretty much every penalty decision can be, oh, it could be a pen, it couldn't be a pen. But I think the thing with us, I think we've conceded 6 pens this Premier League campaign, something like that, the highest of any team in the Prem. I think I was reading that earlier. So maybe that's something to work on, not being so like last-ditch effort in the box, which we seem to have made that mistake more than any other team in the Premier League. What was your other question? And what was Tottenham's start to the game?
Yeah.
I think we kind of were not switched on in the first half. I think the first half was quite like on edge for me, having watched it at home, because unfortunately I wasn't at the game. I will be back on Saturday. But it was like a different team in the second half. I'm not saying that we came away with the 3 points with ease, but it was a hard fought effort. But in the first half, I was left less than impressed, and I think on TV it did sound like there was some boos ringing around the stadium. I don't know if that was as loud as what the TV cameras picked up on, but I don't think my feelings about that first half were just me, and it was common amongst a lot of fans.
Yeah, it certainly was. As someone who's there from the stadium, there was a couple of boos, but it wasn't loud, to be honest with you. And I think it's always loud on the camera and the way they kind of do it. But yeah, there was a couple of boos. I'm not going to lie. But Benjamin, coming to you from Van der Ven to give away the penalty, you think it's poor from him? And is it a penalty for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think he come in at the wrong angle. I think it was definitely, personally for me, like at the time, obviously when you're in the stands, you're going, no, what are you doing, ref? But then when I watched it back, it's like, I think it was a penalty, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those. But Benjamin, coming back to you, because obviously at half-time, Brighton were 1-0 up. So overall, similar question to ask you to Davina. What were your thoughts on those first 45 minutes? Why wasn't it clicking?
Well, we're kind of we're a mixed bag this season, aren't we? We either go out there and we dominate the game, which at times isn't always a good thing, because back to back against Villa and West Ham, we should have killed the game off and lost. So I don't know whether it's a good thing that we come out full guns blazing, and then other times we come out and we're not doing anything at all. It's like we run out of ideas straight away. So
Yeah,
I think that was sort of that. Like we had chances, didn't we? But I think, as Davina said, I think it lacked imagination, really, didn't it? To be fair.
yeah, absolutely. And Davina, would you say that Brighton were worthy of their lead at half-time?
I do think so. I think that they were really easily able to string passes through our midfield. I was left wondering, like, where on earth is our midfield? And Tottenham just didn't seem to be a very cohesive unit on the pitch. So when we conceded that pen, I was like, yeah, imagine my shock. And there wasn't very much fight to get that goal back in the first half. But like I said earlier, there was a mentality shift in the second half. So glad to see that from the team.
Absolutely, and you set me up perfectly there, because coming to you, Benjamin, in the 61st minute, Sarr scores from a tight angle. It came back to him after coming off the post. Lewis Dunk intercepted it. So was there an element of luck to you for that goal, or you just happy the ball hit the back of the net from Sarr?
Well, obviously, we're all just lucky. We're all happy. I mean, it hit the back of the net. But yeah, there's a bit of luck there. But sometimes you have to ride your luck. And as soon as it came back to him, it has happened before when people would have skied that, and he didn't. He just buried it. So
yeah.
They played to him, and I think we didn't realise how much we missed him. To be fair, I don't think very, very good player in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you, Davina. Yeah, was that element of luck when it comes to the goal, or like Benjamin, we're just happy the ball hit the back of the net, because you need luck sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, you do need luck sometimes, and it was an element of luck, but also it could have been. I mean, it was an element of luck because the ball came off the post from Kulusevski's initial shot, I think it was. But then again, like Benjamin said, I think 8 times out of 10 that shot gets skied and doesn't hit the back of the net. So it was a bit of luck to get that ball come to Sarr, and then yeah, I wouldn't call it luck. I'd put it as a pleasant surprise that we did score.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Talking business, are lucky it wasn't an own goal. So moving on to kind of what has been a big talking point in the last few weeks, which is Ange's subs, because Son, Johnson, and Basuma all come on to replace Kulusevski, Werner, and Bentancur. Then a bit later, in the 80th minute, Højbjerg and Davis come on for Sarr and Udogie. As I said there, Ange's been criticised for his in-game management and substitutions. So Benjamin, were these the right changes for you? Did he get it right with his in-game management this time?
Personally, I think I have been a bit critical of Johnson this season. Not in I know he's taken a lot of flack, but basically in a constructive way. I've been a bit critical because he did have a big price tag, but I think personally the impact sub role has suited him perfectly. To be honest, to come off the bench and do what he's doing, and it will boost his confidence as well. It's early doors for him, and I really hope he does well. But I think the impact sub role has suited him really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it has. Davina, did Ange get his subs right and his in-game management? Was it better for you against Brighton?
Yeah, I've sometimes questioned Ange's substitutions, especially when we have conceded last-minute equalisers. We have a very bad habit of either scoring really late or conceding really late. So sometimes I've drawn those results up to the substitutions made, but I wasn't mad about the subs that he made on Saturday. And I think, again, we forget that Ange hasn't had such a long time to work with all of his players coming back. So it's not going to be an instant, straight away, I know which players to use in which instance. It's like a learning curve. And even though he's had half a season, he's not had half a season of a fully fit team. with all the resources at his expense. So sometimes it will work. Sometimes it's a player's lapse in judgment. So no, I think it did work out because ultimately we came away with the 3 points.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, football's a results-based business, and we did, as you say, come away with all 3 points. Now, best bit of the game, 96th minute. If a fantastic move results in a beautiful cross, obviously, by Son coming off the bench with lots of energy, lots of love as always. And Johnson, for me, right place, right time. So, Davina, your reaction to the goal, and another late win. We left it late again.
Another late win. Gosh, this team never make it easy. But Son is just so impactful. That the lack of threat in the final third that we've been missing while he's been away was just so evident when we have a team with Heung-min Son in it. Like, you can see the clear-cut difference as to the vision that he has as a footballer. And again, great finish from Brennan Johnson. I have been a strong supporter of Brennan Johnson, especially on social media, because there's been a lot of criticism given towards him. Sometimes I think, there's a way to criticize a player if he's not on form, but people have been on Twitter have been taking it a bit too far. And I know his comments, he limited his comments, and it's been quite sad for a young player to have to experience that from his own fans. But I was buzzing for him to have got that goal and such composure in front of it as well. Last minutes of the game, great finish. So yeah, super happy for him, and I'm glad it was him that got the goal in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Benjamin, talk me through your reaction when the ball hit the back of net, and just for you, was that the best move in the game? Because for me, it certainly was. Why didn't we see more of that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, as we say, it was quite flat for a lot of it. It was quite, but second half we picked up a bit, didn't we? We started playing a little bit of football, and that was just this season. I think we've done that a few times. We've scored at the death. Liverpool, Sheffield United. We've scored late on, haven't we? But last season we probably wouldn't have won those games because we didn't have the heart that we got this season. So, and it flipped. It, as I say, it's on the flip side as well. We've played well and should have won games that we haven't won. But it's all a work in progress, isn't it? It's very early doors for a lot of the team and the manager.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, you can look at it in kind of a negative or positive way. Negatively, for me, it wasn't our best performance. I expected, to bounce back and come in strong after dropping 2 points at Goodison Park. But at the end of the day, as we say, football is a results-based business. We went out there and beat Brighton, which is the objective at the start of the day. So we've achieved that. For me, it doesn't matter how you do it. I look at it and go, as you allude to, Davina, the resilience. And this kind of never give up attitude. I think that's really, really important, even when we don't play well, because you see the best teams, prime example, Manchester City, even when they don't play well, they find a way to get results. Everton really, really struggled. Yes, they had to use De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva from the bench, but still got the job done when they didn't look at their best. And that is all that matters. But Benjamin, did we need that win? Obviously, after dropping 2 points at Goodison Park, was it if we hadn't come away with all 3 points, do you think that, it would be hard? Obviously, it will be harder to get top four. But how big for you were those 3 points?
Oh, massive! Obviously, we should have won at Everton, in my opinion. I mean, Richarlison pulls those 2 goals out of the bank, and we don't win. Do you know what I mean? I think we deserve to win at Everton. But those sort of things happen, especially away, especially as time goes on in the game as well. You're always sort of susceptible to letting one in right at the death, especially to the home team. I think, but as I say, swings and roundabouts against United, we went and did it, didn't we? We pulled it back. So these things happen, But yeah, it was a massive game on Saturday, and I'm really pleased we won it because we're in the mix again now, aren't we? Fully.
We certainly are. We'll talk more towards the end of the shows in terms of expectations and upcoming games. But Davina, come to you. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the overall performance? Did we deserve to win? And was there a period in the game? Because it was certainly for me, it was 10, 15 minutes after Brighton got the equaliser. Did you think that Brighton would go on and win it? Were you surprised at full time to be going, wow, we've got all 3 points?
I don't think it was an undeserved win. I think at 1-1, we were pushing a bit more, and the substitutions that were made, with the quality on the pitch, we deserve to win. So, yeah, I mean, we continue to probe, we put that pressure, and then, once we got the 1-1, and then towards the end of the game, we were making good moves, which did warrant a goal. So I wasn't surprised. It's just always a shock when you score a last-minute winner. Always good vibes, but not. I went into that game thinking we should be coming away with 3 points. So on reflection, having finished with 3 points, it's not a surprise. It's more of a why did it take so long to get that winner?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Talking Beer makes a really, really good point here. And this, I came away from the game thinking, we've really rode our luck. How haven't Brighton won this, etc. But a little bit of context here. It's because Talking Beer says we had twice the amount of shots on goal, and we were then by twice the score. I think it ended up just like it should have. So again, I think that bit of context is very vital. But Benjamin, to kind of bring you on this, were you disappointed in our overall performance? And again, same question as I asked Davina, was there a period in that game where you go, do you know what, I don't think we're going to come away with any points?
No, I don't think you can never be disappointed. However you win, a win's a win, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But especially at the end of it, I thought we'll probably, when we equalised, I thought this is going to be a draw, or they're going to go down the other end and score, which has happened a couple of times this season. But yeah, absolutely delighted with the win. But yeah, there's always, Harry, you support Tottenham. We're a heart attack waiting to happen. And anything could happen with us.
Absolutely. I was talking to someone the other day. I was kind of saying, isn't it good we get value for money this year in terms of there's always going to be an eventful ending. You don't know if you're going to score late. You don't know, if you're going to concede late. But it's entertainment. Another late winner. We get the result done, and that's all we want at the end of the day. The result is just what we want at the end of the day. But I do want to move on to a few individuals. The first individual I want to focus on is obviously match winner Brennan Johnson. So Benjamin, what are your thoughts on his start to life at Spurs? And let's forget his goal for a minute. What were your thoughts on his performance also in that game?
As I said, I think he's a good impact sub at the minute. I think I've been critical of him this season, and I feel a little bit bad for it. But he's got a massive price tag, Harry. He has got a massive price tag, and I would like to see price tags justified. I know he's young, but he's been and done it with Nottingham Forest already. He's no stranger to the league, and I sometimes think he doesn't really know what to do with his pace, kind of. But coming on, I think what's done him well is being a sub, and when he comes on, as an impact sub, I think he's done very, very well. A couple of winning goals ain't going to do no harm, is it?
Absolutely. Can you see him being used from now until the end of the season more as that kind of impact player? Because it's worked, hasn't it, in recent games? Or do you still think that he will be a regular start? So where are you're kind of at the moment in terms of Johnson or Kulusevski on that right?
I would rather him be an impact sub because I think that's doing him all right. Personally, rather than impact sub for me.
Yeah, would you make kind of the questions he's received from some Spurs fans and almost a little bit of abuse, if you like, because he has noticed it. He's mentioned it in interviews, he knows he's not doing well and what the fans think. So, would you make of kind of that side to it? And are you still fully behind you? Do you think he'll work out in a Spurs shirt? And as you said, do you think a lot of it is down to that price tag?
Abuse, personal abuse, is there's no need for that ever. Anyone who's slagging him off personally, saying anything like that, then they're not proper fans, are they? It's fine to be constructive. That's great. Fans are entitled to say, I don't think he had a good game. I think he's off the ball a little bit. We're entitled to say that as fans. That doesn't mean that you're slagging him off. That doesn't mean that you don't wish him well. That just means that you're saying at this point in time, I think he should be doing better. But I think he's netted a couple of goals. He's trying hard, and I think there's a talent there, so I think he'll do okay. I think he'll be fine.
I hope you're right, and I do think so. I've been behind Brennan Johnson. Obviously, as you say, the abuse is never warranted. I think the questions are fair in terms of individual performance because I don't think he really made an impact. But ultimately, he scored the winning goal. It's his moment. Let him enjoy it. And again, it's results-based business, and he's gone and scored. and that is all that matters. But
that increases his confidence. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. And he could be a kind of impact player, as you said. I think we've got a few of them. I think Werner's another one personally, and players that live off confidence, and that's okay. You know, you keep them up and firing. But yeah, it's just me and you for now, Benjamin. Pav's having technical issues, and so is Davina at the moment. So the show must go on, as they say. So the next individual I do want to move on to is Shun Min Son. Just how good is it to have him back? Talk me through it. And his assist for the goal. I think that kind of assist gone under the radar, obviously, in the moment. What a beautiful cross, though, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sonny's Tottenham. He gives everything to the badge. He always has and he always will. He's Tottenham through and through. I think when he had that little wobble, it came to light that he was injured. Like, apparently, like, he was carrying a bit of an injury, and then he comes back, he captains the team, and he's on fire again. So it's like he will always play for the badge, and that's it, for us fans. That's what you want.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. But what do you make of, him kind of, because before he came back, a lot of Spurs fans were kind of questioning him and like, I don't know, why did he go his country, etc. Some of those questions. So what do you make of the kind of criticism he's received from some Spurs fans?
Before he went, I thought a couple of games, I thought it was almost like he didn't want to get injured, especially New Year's Eve. It looked as if he was a little bit sheepish to me. And then he went on the plane. But as I said on Twitter, like, when he's out there, for me, I want him to win it. Like, people were saying, oh, yeah, I want him to come back. Oh, yeah, we want them to lose so he can come back. That's not really my mentality. Like, when he's out there, if he's there, he's there. So I hope he wins it. Obviously,
he's one of our players as well, isn't he, Benjamin? You know, we want them to do well and ultimately be happy. Yes, you know, part of us, you know, part of me thinks, well, at least they're coming back, but I still want them to do well. And you saw like how upset Son was, how upset Sarr was. It matters to them, doesn't it? And I just think that maybe sometimes people forget that.
Yeah,
because it's such an important thing. But another individual I do want to focus on is Rodrigo Bentancur, who's been blasted, let's say, with some of his recent performances. So where do you stand with him? Because obviously he's come back from 2, but especially 1 really, really serious injury with that ACL. Are you going to give him time, or do you think he's a player that probably finds himself on the bench against Wolves?
I don't know about Saturday, how that's going to work out, but I would definitely give him time. Like, he's a fantastic player. When he's on song, as you say, you've got to remember, guy's been out for ages, suffered a massive injury. Like, but he's obviously. I remember when they both started, Kulusevski and Bentancur. They both played against Southampton at home, and we lost 3-2. I think that was their debut. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was their debut. And I remember him; he was just outstanding from the off. Like, Kulusevski, I think, took a little bit more time to sort of get there, but I remember Bentancur just being absolutely fantastic, and I think he's got talent for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Kulusevski there as well, Benjamin. I'm a bit torn on this. What do you think his best position is? And is he a kind of player you look at him and go, yeah, he can play a couple of different positions and do really well at it? Because that's important, isn't it? Versatility.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe out on the right, maybe. I don't know. It's a tough one with him. I'm not sure, but the good thing for us is I think when everyone's fit, we're going to have players challenging for all positions.
Yeah, we absolutely are. I think we do have a really strong squad. But before we do move on to Wolves, also, we've had lots of talk, haven't we, recently about the blue card, and I haven't actually spoken to you about it, Benjamin. So, What are your thoughts on the potential? It looks like an introduction of blue cards and sin bins, if you like, from next season.
Oh, still there, Harry? I've lost you.
Oh, don't know what happened there.
Are you back?
I'm back. No idea what happened there. Sorry, I was going to ask you your thoughts on blue card and sin bins. Are you for it? Is it the right way for the game to kind of go?
No, I'm not for it at all. I don't want anything. I don't like VAR anyway. I prefer the game when it was back in the day when the ref was just in charge and the linos, and that's what it was. Sometimes decisions went for you, sometimes they went against you. But that's the game. We don't need all this interference. That blue card is just like a naughty step. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've upset the ref. Go and sit over there for 10 minutes. But players are just going to be time wasting. It's going to make things 100 times worse. I just can't see how it benefits the game. I just like the way the game was before. I don't think there needs any tampering with it. The VAR has sucked out, as you know yourself, you go to games. It sucks out the joy for the fans because we're celebrating goals, and all of a sudden we haven't celebrated a goal because there's a decision.
Yeah,
it just makes I think it just drains human emotion out of it, mate. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. But as you mentioned VAR, there, would you for you, would you keep it? Would you change it, or would you scrap it?
I'd scrap it. Just get rid of it.
Would you altogether?
Just rely on the ref like we used to back in the old days. Sometimes it went for you. Sometimes it went against you, and that was the beauty of football for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Villy says, why are they trying to change the game so much? Fix VAR and let's play. Well, there you go. If you guys want a little bit more like insight information and like tactical and everything like that analysis, if you like, then go check out yesterday. I've done a show with an ex-referee for 15 years, an expert when it comes to officiating. Background's really, really fascinating. We talked all things blue cards, sim bins, the way that the game's going, not now, but for the generation. It's kind of talking to be a little bit more behind. Just some of the things you just don't know about consistency, inconsistency, the subjective decisions. It's really, really interesting. So go check that out. It should be pinned on the Scarfy Sparstall YouTube channel. Some good questions here. JJ says, yeah, agree, but I'm sure this is where the game is going for the future. Barney says, agree, it's totally unnecessary having a blue guard. Simplify it if there's way too much red tape as it is. It does drain the emotion out. Jay says, scrap VAR and don't do blue cards, then the game will go on no stoppages.
The only thing I would keep is goal line technology, obviously.
That's for me, that's the last good invention.
Yeah. Same.
And also, Winnie, see your question in there. We'll get to questions towards the end of the show, Winnie, so we'll put them forward to Benjamin. Any questions you have for Benjamin, who's obviously trending over the weekend with that incident after we scored with Pape Mate Star, so do get involved. If you have any questions for Benjamin in the comments below. But I do want to move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, Benjamin, talk to me. How are you feeling ahead of the game?
I don't know. Wolves is a tricky one. I mean, I think I read like out of the last sort of best of 5, I think they've won 3, if I'm correct. They do seem to have quite a good track record against us, like in recent times. So it's never an easy game. We've already lost them, like you say, this season. So yeah, I think I'm Harry, like you. When we turn up to games, we're always confident we can win. Sometimes we're a little bit naive about it, I think, but we're always confident that we might be able to get it over the line. So let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. We have got some comments on VAR. Talking Beer says if they continue to misuse VAR, they need to scrap it. With Ville being pro VAR, he also says there is potential, but it's been awful so far. So yeah, there you go. I think we kind of all agree in terms of where we were and where we are now with VAR. I think the idea behind it's good, but it's ultimately based on opinions and not facts. I know it can never purely be based on facts, as I found out yesterday from ex-referee. It's really, really interesting. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, it's interesting with VAR. So yeah, do get involved in the comments below.
Harry,
go on.
Don't you think that I would like? It's just a thought. I don't know whether it's true, but all these stoppages, don't you think that it might actually sort of co-align with some of the injuries? Because these players have got to stop for so long, sometimes like 8-9 minutes. And then they run down the line, all these hamstrings are snapping. Yeah.
That's the big thing. And what do you make of kind of the flag as well and it going up late in terms of for VAR? And what do you kind of make of that? Would you get rid of that? Obviously, you said you get rid of VAR. So would you put the flag up earlier again, prevent injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if our injuries are because we play such a fast system. I don't know. I don't know whether our hamstrings are going because we play such a fast system, because our players are having to track back at such a tremendous speed. Or I don't know, it's because we're having so many breaks in VAR that when the players get going again, they're a bit rusty.
Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
sure,
Yeah.
but
Pav,
yeah, I just scrap it
Pav
all.
put in the comments there that Pav is watching us on the TV and trying to get on. Got technical issues along with Davina, but it's me and Benjamin for now, and the show definitely must go on. But yeah, talk me from 1 to 11, Benjamin. That's starting 11. Would there be any changes in there for you?
I'll put Sonny in. I think I'll get him back.
Yeah.
In. Yeah.
Would you keep Kulusevski and Bentancur in there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As I say, I like Johnson as a sub at the minute. I think that's the way forward for now, until he sort of develops a little bit. Because I think as long as he's coming on and scoring these goals and he's playing well as an impact sub, I think that's going to do him the world of good. I think that's how we should have been playing him. To be fair, but yeah, maybe just Sonny in, maybe.
Yeah. So Son's the main one that people have all kind of have mentioned because obviously Son, and obviously coming back, it would have been unfair, I think, to chuck him in after his commitment for his country. First game, I think we will see him. He's a captain at the end of the day. I think people forget that and have to kind of respect that. So I do think that he will be back in the starting 11. But guys, get involved in the comments below because we're going to get on to score predictions next. So with your score predictions in the comments below, as well as what your lineup would look like. Because for me, I'd bring in some absolutely for Werner. I think Werner, has done well, but I think will find himself on the bench. I'd keep Kulusevski in now over Johnson. Part of me would say put Basuma in over Bentancur, so that's the only other one that I would consider. But apart from that, Son would be the only one. So, predicted score. Benjamin, give you your predicted score and who's going to score.
I think we're going to do 2-1 again. And I think it's going to be another heart attack like it always is. I think we'll score late again. And I actually think I would like to say Son would score. And maybe Sarr again, to be honest.
Yeah? So you're going for a Spurs win?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going 2-0 as well. I think this will be where we do get the clean sheet, hopefully, because obviously, one clean sheet in our last 15. So we could do with a clean sheet as well. I mean, I know we're always that team who's going to concede goals and score goals, and that's okay. But at the same time, we want to be able to help ourselves defensively. Elias says we're the least benefited team from VAR. Talking Bear says we benefit from VAR as much as it's hurt. Yeah, fair enough. And Elias adds on to say, I think we also have received some of the least pens in the league over the last few years. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Barney he's got his score prediction in the comments below. Sorry, Harry, I can't keep you keeping a clean sheet. He's going to go with 3-1 Spurs. I completely understand that, Barney, where you're coming from. I just think Cunha obviously came off for Wolves. They lost 2-0 to Brentford. They didn't look the same. They had to play a different way in that kind of physical threat that Cunha brings. So if he is missing, then I think that'll be massive. I obviously have Pedro Neto, but Cunha for me, most informed Wolves player this season. But yeah, get your score predictions in the comments below. Elias also goes to 3-1 Spurs. But before we move on to the Scarfy Spurs Talk FPL League and questions that people put forward for the podcast, I've got a question here for you, Benjamin, and it's quite a tough one that I always ask the guests every single week. And that's how many points will we get from our next 4 Premier League games? And there's out of the 4, there's 12 points available. Our next 4 games are Wolves at home, Crystal Palace at home, Aston Villa away, and Fulham away. That's Wolves at home, Palace at home, Villa away, Fulham away. So, Benjamin, how many points are we getting out of those next 4 games with 12 available?
That's a tough question. I would like to get the 6 at home, I would think.
Yeah.
But I think if you got maybe a point away at Villa, and then was the last one Fulham, was it?
Fulham away, yeah, Craven Cottage.
And then, so that's 6, 7, maybe even 10.
For me, if I'm being honest, I think we need, if we want to be in around that top 4, we need 10 because we still got Man City and Arsenal to host at home. We still got to go to St James's Park, Stamford Bridge, the London Stadium, and people go, "What do you mean by Chelsea and West Ham? It's a rivalry, it's a derby, it's a London derby. They'll both be up for it, and it's not an easy place to go." We've lost to both this season. I don't know how, but we have. So for me, it's a minimum 10. 12 would be lovely. I can't see it. If it's 12, and then we're for me really serious again about getting top 4. But those 6 home points, very, very important. Not losing to Villa, and ideally, no disrespect Barney, but beating Fulham. If we do beat Villa, then a point against Fulham, vice versa. That's a little bit of leeway on that. But yeah, that's a tough question. So guys, how many points are we getting out of those possible 12? But before we get into the questions that people put forward for the podcast, we've got a quick FPL update for you. So I'm going to read through the league. The last update was Sunday night before the Palace and Chelsea game, and Tom Carr is top of our league with 378 points, followed by Kayo Gott in second place. Third, Keith Burnham, who goes by the name Rent Free. Fourth is Mark Sweetney. Fifth is Sean Holder. Sixth is Kayo Julius. Seventh is Ted McCoy. Eighth is Rob Perry. Ninth is Mickey Race. 10th is Lukey Daniel. 11th, fall in one place, is Luca Fagna. 12th is Luke Charlton. 13th is Robert Mumford. 14th is Tommy. And 15th is Thomas Holston, who I know will be listening in the chat. So that's the top 15 of my league. I find myself all the way down in 71st out of 105. So that pains me to say. I've changed a few things around for next game. But you guys are doing very well, beating me so far. And I'm very sorry. Barney, you are bottom of the league with 167 points. But you did join a week late. So I'll give you a little bit of leeway when it comes to that. It's never too late to join my FPL league. So let me know in the comments below if you are interested. And I'll drop the code and the link in the comments below. But now moving on to the questions that people put forward for the podcast before we wrap up for today's show. So we asked you your thoughts on X or Twitter, as it used to be called this morning, your questions for the panel. It doesn't look like Davina or Pav are going to be joining us. So it looks like it'll be me and you, Benjamin, to see out today's show. So you'll be answering all the questions. But the first one is from Barney, who says, slightly different question. On the subject of away days, pick one club that you'd love to go to and see Spurs play that you haven't been to yet. It's a good question.
I'd like to go. I've never been. I'd like to go St James's Park, Newcastle.
James's Park.
Yeah.
Good job you didn't go last season.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd have gone home even before half time.
Oh dear. That was very, very lucky indeed. So yeah, Benjamin goes to James's Park. Obviously I've been to Craven Cottage, not for a game yet, so I'd love to obviously go for a game. Hopefully we can make that possible, Barney, this year. But it's a really good question. There's lots of fantastic unique stadiums, but for me you just can't beat the uniqueness of Craven Cottage. Next question is from Bateman Talkstorm, so big up to him. You have kind of answered this question, Benjamin. We're going to ask it to you anyway. Should Johnson start the next game? So explain to Ben why you wouldn't start him and why you think he's better as an impact player.
I just think he's better coming off the bench for now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't start him in the future, but I think like his confidence has been a little bit knocked. I don't think he's the best when he's come on in games. I know that people don't really like you saying that, but I don't think he always has been the best when he's come on. I think he's lacked a little bit, and I think like coming off as a sub, like it will do him the world of good because he obviously seems to be when he's coming off the bench. He seems to be whether it's scoring goals or inputting. Hello.
Yeah, you're right.
Or inputting,
he's my emergency guest.
or inputting in other
go.
ways. Like I think he's doing better as a sub. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And
Mark Johnson,
welcome.
by any chance. I just walked in. Sorry.
Yeah, we are.
Yes,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
It's absolutely good guess, but thank you very much. Has Spurs TV is a late, never too late though, special guest. Obviously, Davina and Pav are unavailable through technical issues. So Has, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I didn't expect to get that message.
No, I'm very sorry, but really appreciate you coming on. To chuck you straight into it from Villy, comment from Villy says, what do you think is the issue with Jed Spence?
Attitude.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, there must be a reason why. Was it Daniel Farke? Or is that the manager of Leeds?
Yeah, Daniel Farke, Leeds.
He's the one who made comments about him, and obviously Conte didn't fancy him either. I mean, Conte, I think, didn't want him any regardless, but it's the fact that Ange shipped him out on loan, and also he was kind of meant to be like a first team sort of player. I mean, there's a lot. So I think it's attitude really. I'm also though just the caveat that I've never seen him play that much, so I can't really say like if he's like a top defender or anything like that. But from what little I saw, it just I don't really know. You can't really judge. I think so,
It's hard to judge after what we've seen, but with the same message is kind of repeating, isn't it, about attitude?
I think I don't know if you saw that picture after they won the final. Have you seen it at all with the cigarette, whatever it was?
Yeah,
cigar or cigarette? Yeah,
cigar. Yeah,
I don't know. You come across that sort of players where it's just like maybe they got too big for their boots. Maybe I don't know. It's like I think with the younger players, you kind of need to. I don't nurture is the right word, but you need to keep them grounded and kind of always like with Harry Kane. I always compare everyone to Harry Kane, I guess, but Harry Kane always never had the whole I'm so good sort of aspect. He always was very humble about it, even when he was in the youth setup, which is probably why he didn't clash with Poch either, like someone like Townsend did in the end, because he just had the mentality of like you need to keep working hard to achieve stuff, regardless of where you are, whether you score like 10 to 20 goals, whatever. And I think a lot of the young players don't have that sort of mentality anymore. I think in the old days, you had more players who were just, just get on with it sort of thing. But
just that shifting mentality, I suppose.
Yeah.
Has sticking with you, because Billy goes on to say, is there a blind spot in Spurs' scouting that we should be slightly concerned about for you? Because obviously Jed Spence being one and Ndombele is another name that often comes up.
Okay, within Ndombele, you know where they went wrong? It's more his personality. They didn't really, I think, assess his character. I think the quality, though, was obviously there, and it obviously is there. But so I think maybe the Spurs scouts need to do more diligence on the character of the players they bring in. Like I just spoke about Jed Spence, about just being more humble, I guess, and working hard. And maybe that will change under Ange, because Ange speaks a lot about just certain characters, I guess, in the dressing room and stuff like that. So maybe it will shift. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why we haven't gone in for players like Ivan Toney. It's all about getting that right attitude. But yeah, Benjamin, I'm going to give you the next question. And we will quickly revisit Wolves and get your thoughts as well on the Wolves game, which is our next game. But yeah, Benjamin, I will give the next question to you. I think it's a final question. That is from BBA, who says, why do people feel the need to bring players down when we're fourth when everyone's contributing and Ange is set to bring good things in the new year? So Benjamin is going to ask him, why do you think fans are looking to bring players down? I think Brennan Johnson is a name that often comes up at the moment.
I think there's a fine line. There's a very fine line between actively trying to bring players down and then actual constructive criticism. Because there are people that will criticise players constructively but want them to do well. And then there's other people that will just bring players down because they don't give a toss. Like, I think there's a fine line between it. I think some people are put in that category of bringing players down when they're not really. They're just, as paying fans or watching fans at home, you're allowed to say that someone didn't have a good game. You're allowed to say that. You're allowed to say that someone's not pulling their socks up. You're allowed to say that. But that's not falling into the bracket of being absolutely horrible about someone. That's just supporting your team and giving your views as a fan. And that's the way I see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, fair enough. It is about, obviously, you've got to get behind them while you wear your shirt. But at the same time, you can ask the questions. But yeah, Has coming to you, because obviously I want to revisit Wolves. How are you feeling ahead of the game? And talk me through your lineup 1 to 11.
Okay. We just about scraped past Brighton, if I'm being honest. It wasn't an easy watch. And I kind of feel like, I hate to say this, we kind of robbed them of a point in the end. Because I actually thought Brighton were the better side on the day. Now, Wolves are like a bit of a hit and miss team. So, like, we don't really know what we're going to get. And I don't know if you guys remember, Wolves have actually beaten us a lot away from home in the past few years, especially under Poch. And I think under Conte as well. So I don't see this game as like an easy game. I think we'll probably win like 3-2, something like that, 3-2, 4-3, something crazy like that, because I can see a lot of goals.
Oh, you
but
get
my
a lot of
lineup
goals.
yeah. My lineup will probably be Vicario. Obviously, the back four kind of picks itself now. We've got Adogi, Romero, Van der Ven, and Porro. Midfield, I'm going to say with three as before: Bentancur, Sarr, and Maddison. I think they need to just play more and see what happens. I think it's a bit too early to throw in Basuma because I think Sarr is undroppable at the moment, and Maddison is literally our creativity. So that kind of becomes that last spot being the question mark, I think, right now between Bentancur and Basuma. So it comes to the point of where the people think Basuma can redeem himself or Bentancur can turn up to how he used to be. So with Bentancur, you're going to need game time, and with Basuma, it's kind of like a second chance. But I kind of would stick with Bentancur again because I'd rather just give him a bit more time. A front three, I can. Okay, so this is a bit weird. I'm going with Werner, Richarlison, and Son.
Okay, so how would it kind of look in terms of where they play?
I just chuck Son on the right and just see what happens.
Would you?
Because for me, we have a
think
massive
it'll work?
problem down that side. So it's like, I actually think, I know Ben probably said this before I came on, but I think Johnson's better as an impact player at the moment. So bring him off the bench. He seems to be doing more.
Yeah.
And Kulusevski just frustrates the hell out of me on the right hand side. So I just don't want to see playing. so he's not in my lineup. So I think Son probably will just go back into the team, but I just don't really want to drop Werner. So I kind of just try something like that. And I guess in the game, Werner and Son can kind of switch wings. I mean, Richarlison, I think, has to play up front because he's our biggest sort of like outlet / can hold the ball up. I think Son will kind of struggle there, especially against someone like Wolves, because Wolves just have a tall team. So, and I think with Son, the difference is that when you play Son up front, you kind of have to play certain types of balls. Like with Richarlison, because of his height, and unfortunately for people, he's got more strength than Son. I think he's a better option in the middle for us, regardless of his say lack of what people would say lack of finishing. But I think that's debatable in itself. But I would play Son on the right and just see what happens.
Whatever way you look at it, there's pace there. In that team, there's pace. Whatever way you do it, there's speed.
I mean, I know Werner's played on the right much, so I can't really say. I know Son's played on the right for us a bit, but it's just we have a real issue down that side, so
yeah,
we might as well try it.
And we have a versatile front three as well, which I like, and I'm sure they're all capable of playing in any of those positions.
Those three could all switch in the game anyway. Like,
that's nice to have if something's not working.
Son can shift in the middle. Werner could even shift in the middle. Richarlison should, but there's options, I guess.
Because sometimes you can't beat your man, and they've got the better of you. Sometimes you just change things up a bit. That flexibility, like sometimes you see swapping wingers. So I think that's really a positive thing for us. But talking beer, says Johnson off the bench is so much better for him as well. But a question I asked Benjamin I'm going to put to you as well. Obviously, you've been on the show plenty of times. You know how it works. And that is how many points will we get question and why. This time, I've done it for our next 4 Premier League fixtures. I always make it a little bit harder. This time with 12 points available. Our next 4 games are Wolves at home, Crystal Palace at home, Aston Villa away, and Fulham away. That's Wolves at home, Palace at home, Villa away, and Fulham away. 2 home games, 2 away games. How many points are getting has?
Okay, I think we'll win the home games. So that's 6 points. I think we're going to lose at Villa. But I think we'll beat Fulham. I think we'll beat Fulham though. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think because if Villa are going to stay in the top 4 race, they have to beat us, right? So it might come to that game where they have to beat us and they beat us, and then it comes back to the whole Villa. I think it'll be Villa, United, and Tottenham for that 4th spot now.
Didn't Villa lose one of their quite instrumental players today? Villa lost quite a big player today, didn't they?
I don't know because I've been at work, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think my cousin's a Villa fan, and I see him put FFS earlier as someone was out. So I think they might have.
Who's out? Do you know or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was. I skimmed past it, but I'm sure they've lost someone today.
Pretty sure it was Kamara. I'm pretty sure it was
for
him.
me with Villa. There's the danger men are like people like Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey. I think is a good player.
Watkins, yeah.
He's been on form like mad this
I
season.
would
So
have had
and that Villa Park, I think they're a different animal. I don't know, but then that's the
They've
only game
lost
I'm
twice,
still
though, haven't they? Yeah, last week they lost twice.
But at some point they're gonna have to bounce back. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think they have to beat us to be in the top 4 race. So I think they will.
yeah. But isn't it top 5 this year?
No, it's all dependent on. Is it dependent on Arsenal or someone like that? It's like
Oh, okay.
yeah. So they have to something like European coefficients. I don't understand it fully myself.
Yeah.
But I think it's Villa, United, and Spurs for that 4th spot. To be honest, now.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I think United are they're in the race now. I think for it.
United are coming back strong, massively.
Yeah.
Like,
Players back as well. Ten Hag was right.
Yeah, the guy up front, that the
Holland.
Yeah, he is.
You know what? I really like him.
Yeah, he's starting to bang them in, isn't he? So they're coming back strong.
And they got pace as well. And also United, because they have the obviously historical thing behind them, they'll fancy getting 4th. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think for Villa, I think this is probably their best chance to do it, but they're gonna have to start picking up again, I guess. But I don't know. I still think it's quite open for that 4th spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think
It'd be
the top 3 for me
interesting to
is
see-
already done. I hate to say it, they're already
Yeah,
done. I think
fair enough. I think you've got to remember we've got to host Man City and Arsenal. Yeah, we've got to go to Villa
Back to
Park,
back,
St
I
James's
think.
Park, London's Stamford Stamford Bridge. Yeah,
Have
we've
you
got
seen
some
our
hard
fixtures in
games,
April, Harry?
Yeah,
mean,
they're horrendous. So that's why I look at it and go, we have to win our next 2 games. We have to go to Craven Cottage and win. So we need, for me, probably 10 points minimum from our next 12 to be able to sit here and go, we can get top 4.
For me,
We've got in April. We've got back-to-back Villa, City, and Arsenal. I think we've got to go to Newcastle. We've got to go to Anfield. I think. I don't know if that's. I think that's the end of the month.
Cool.
That might be 4th.
Forgot Anfield. Yeah.
4th of May. 4th of May. I think it's Anfield. We've got that. Look at that period of like 4 weeks. It's just. When I looked at it, I was like, "What?"
But if you think we are in the business end of the season now, past December is the business end of the season. So technically, we're not going to do it. I don't think, but we are in the title race because we're in that. We're there. We're only how many points are we behind the top? So technically,
They're on 55, right? I think.
We're in 7th. If City win their game in hand, it'd be 8.
Yeah. So
Forget
technically,
it.
we're not kicking ourselves. We're not, but we are in a title race because we're there. So we can mathematically do it.
And mathematically speaking, yes, but I think.
Guys, can we win the title? Let's just put the question out there. Get involved in the comments.
No,
I don't think we can. But when you think about
We're not winning the title. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying we will. I'm saying, it's the business end of the season. After December, it's the business end. So whoever's up there is in with a chance. So we are in with a chance. It's a very slim chance, but we're in with a chance.
I tell you what, if we went and bought Osimhen in the window in January or something like that, someone like that, I would have been like, yes, go on. But I think City's starting to kick in now. I think Liverpool will definitely be in there.
If it wasn't for City, I'd go, still not going to happen. There's that outside chance. Liverpool with the news of Klopp, like they beat Burnley, but God, they struggled.
And
Arsenal doing well at this moment in time, but there's not a huge gap between us and them. So
City are masters of the comeback.
Who knows?
They are just seasoned at doing it so well.
Did you see that video of Pep by any chance throwing the balls? Has anyone seen this?
No.
Basically, so they're like throwing balls this side and this side really quickly. He goes left, right, left, right, left, right. Like he's screaming at them. It's much like a game. You see Cole Walker struggling because he can't do it quick enough.
Oh, really?
But like, yeah.
You
it's
can
just
never
like
back against City ever. They're masters. When you think they're faltering, then they come on strong. Every single time.
I mean, De Bruyne is back now, so
they're nigh on impossible to beat. But I actually think Liverpool might win the league. To be fair,
I've been saying it since day one, haven't I, Harry? I think Liverpool going to win the league. So
yeah, I think.
I think you said it even after we beat them 2-1.
Yeah,
I think
they were. In my opinion, they're the best
show.
team I've seen this season. In my opinion,
I
I think even when they play badly, they still score goals. So
I agree, but again, I still look at them against Burnley and go, "Wow, that they struggle." But for me, Liverpool were still winning without Alexander-Arnold, without Salah, without Robertson. So I looked at them then and went, "Do you know what? They're up with a good chance." And again, as I said to Benjamin earlier, it is a results-based business. Okay, we struggled past Brighton, we won. That's all that matters. That was the expectation going into it. But I do think that kind of wraps us up nicely, though, for today's show. So, Benjamin, first time on the show. Well, we did try to get you on before, didn't we? But good old Wi-Fi, as we've experienced with Pav and Davina tonight, and me at periods as well, has played out. Good old
everyone's
technology.
Wi-Fi down or something? Is that what
I don't know what's happened, but yeah, back to the drawing board for me. Because you plan 4 or 5 months in advance, and then this. So, you know, I suppose you can't always plan for all things. But Benjamin, thank you very much for coming on. It's an honour to get you on. So firstly, tell me where people can find you. Talk to me a bit more why you're trending on Twitter at the moment.
So people can find me on Twitter if they want to. I'm not sure they will, but why I'm trending on Twitter at the minute is because when Tottenham scored on Saturday and Pepe Sarr run to the fans, I was one of the fans that was in the melee, as it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ben, have you been on other streams before? I recognise your face.
I'm no. Not
all right, okay, maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Though.
Yeah. Well, it's someone else that looks like me.
Yeah.
Poor bugger.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, big up to everyone in the chat as well. Yeah, appreciate all your questions. We did get through them all. But any last minute ones, do get them in the comments below. Massively appreciate Has for coming on last minute, what I call an emergency guest, which we haven't had to have before. Proper last minute throughout the show. So thank you very much for coming on. Where can people find you and talk to me about our show on Spurs Kings TV?
Oh yeah, okay. So please go and subscribe to Hasper TV. First of all, follow me on Twitter at Hasper92. I kind of retweet and tweet random stuff really. And yeah, also me and Harry have a show with TJ at Spursy Talks at Spurs Kings TV. I have to remember the name now. On a Friday night at 7 o'clock. So please go and check us out there. So on my channel, I should be streaming next on the Thursday. I think that's where I penciled it in for. So I set up the stream. So I haven't gone live for a while. So I might also be hosting the post-match show on the Saturday after Wolves. So it's maybe it's probably going to happen. But anyway, on Spurs Kings TV as well. So you find me there along with Harry, really. Spurs Kings TV and the Hasper TV as well. So please go subscribe to both channels if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
Also to Harry's channel as well.
Thank you. How long do the shows go on for on Friday? Give people an idea.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes on for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So if you like to watch people argue and debate,
we argue. Well, we all love each other, but it does get.
Did you see Marlon's comment the other day? And he goes, I thought you guys not wrapped up. It's been 20 minutes. He started arguing. I think he said something like that.
Yeah, it's all like you clearly missed each other. Yeah, I did see something, but I can't quite remember how it's worded.
But yeah, so it's all like okay, we argue, right? But it's all just we're all friends at the end of the day, so it's not like anything serious. Like it's nothing personal. So if you go and watch it though, you like a good debate. Like we talk about really lots of stuff that people actually don't talk about. We talk about. I find on Friday.
We talk about everything from the ownership to the performance to individual players, and we'll have a slightly different perspective on it. Some
even though TJ says I'm the instigator. Yeah.
You're the stirrer.
Yeah, that's what he calls me.
Me and him go at each other because our opinions are
to be fair, he has got a point because I do pick certain not phrases, but like you're
clever the way you do it.
My captions are like wrote in a certain way on purpose because I know it would trigger. Yeah.
Well, it did work last week, didn't it? But yeah, massively appreciate for stepping in last minute. If you want to follow me, you can there, Harry Scarf 22. But most importantly, go follow both these guys on socials.
What's your handle, Ben?
I'm just at Benjamin Knibb.
Oh,
you'll see me. I'm the one hugging Sarr.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You have to put that on the profile picture, but go check these guys out on all socials. There you go. There, Spurs TV's channel. Obviously, Benjamin Knibb on Twitter as well. So thank you to both of you. So thank you very much to everyone who watched, everyone who put their questions in, everyone who's contributed throughout tonight. Obviously, a bit different, but sometimes you have to mix things up a little bit, even if you don't expect it to happen. It's fair to say. But if you are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Let's get to 2K by the end of the season. That'll be massively appreciated. That is the goal now. Tottenham to get top 4 and me to get 2K. That is the aim. That'll be perfect.
I've seen it now. Okay, all right. I've seen
Okay,
it now. Okay.
just see Benjamin Knibb on Twitter. So there you go. Perfect stuff. That's what we love to hear. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and of course the main one, Spotify, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. A lot of people do listen on there, so massively appreciate it. Big up to each and every single one of you who make this channel and make these shows very, very special. We'll be back next Monday 8 p.m. with 4 fabulous guests. I won't say who yet, I'll let you find out next Monday, but as we always say on this channel, they're fairly big, I'd say. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
You were working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. And Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. And Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under, Postecoglou, baby.